All right, let's jump right in. We're going to break down the critical years between 1931 and 1934, a period that really put the whole world on a collision course with disaster.
You know what? It's so important to start with this, because at the beginning of the 1930s, another world war was not a sure thing. Not at all. The memory of the first one was still so raw, and people were desperately clinging to the hope for peace.
So that's the big question, right? How did we get from that fragile hope for peace to the absolute edge of a cliff in just a handful of years? That's what we're going to figure out.
Okay, first things first. To understand the conflict, you have to understand the context. And the stage for this war wasn't set on a battlefield. It was set inside the wreckage of the global economy.
The Great Depression was way more than just a stock market crash. It was like a global tsunami that just washed over everyone. And think about it. The countries that were supposed to be the guardians of world peace, the US, the UK, France, they were all totally consumed by their own problems. They were just trying to stay afloat. And that created a massive power vacuum. And as we're about to see, some countries were more than happy to step in and fill it.
Just look at this number, 40%. That was the unemployment rate in Germany at its peak. I mean, can you even imagine that level of desperation? It was the perfect breeding ground, the perfect storm for radical extremist politics to grab hold.
And yeah, while those established powers were distracted and just trying to survive, 3 other nations looked at this global crisis and saw something completely different. They didn't see a threat, they saw an opportunity.
This table just nails it. It really shows you what was making Germany, Italy, and Japan tick. These were all relatively new countries, kind of the new kids on the block on the world stage, and they all felt like they'd been cheated by the world order that was set up after World War I. Every one of them wanted an empire, and they were ready to burn the whole system down to get it.
So, you've got all this ambition bubbling up. Where did it first boil over? Well, the first real test of the international system happened in Manchuria, a part of northeastern China that was rich in resources.
So get this, a group of super-nationalist Japanese army officers basically go rogue. They stage what we'd now call a false flag operation. They blew up a piece of their own railway. And this Mukden incident, as it was called, was the excuse they needed to launch a full-on invasion, completely ignoring international treaties that had made war illegal.
Naturally, the world looks to the League of Nations. I mean, this is exactly what it was created for, to stop this kind of aggression. And what did the League do? Well, it held a meeting. Then it decided to send a committee. The problem is, the committee took months just to get there. The whole response was just painfully slow and completely toothless because the League had no army, no real power. It was all talk.
So here's the kicker. A year later, the League's report finally comes out, and it sorta condemns what Japan did, and Japan's response? They pretty much just shrugged, packed their bags, and walked out of the League of Nations. Just like that. The system of collective security had been tested, and it failed, spectacularly. Now, this failure sent a message, loud and clear, to anyone else with aggressive ambitions. The world's policemen were not on the beat, and nobody heard that message louder than the folks in Germany, where the single most dangerous event of the whole decade was about to happen. The speed of this is just chilling. Seriously, look at this timeline. In about a year and a half, Germany went from a struggling democracy to a full-blown totalitarian dictatorship. Hitler becomes chancellor, the parliament building catches fire, which he uses as an excuse to get rid of civil rights, and from there, it was just a rapid, brutal takeover. And the crazy thing is, none of this was a secret plan. Not at all. Hitler's entire worldview, his obsessive nationalism, his deep-seated hatreds, his ambition to conquer Eastern Europe for German living space. It was all right there, published in his book Mein Kampf years earlier for anyone to read.
So Hitler basically took a page right out of Japan's playbook. He pulled Germany out of the League of Nations and, just to make his point extra clear, out of the World Disarmament Conference too. It was a total rejection of the international system. He was signaling to the world, Germany is going its own way now.
So by the end of 1934, you can see all the pieces starting to snap into place. Let's look at how the final moves of this period really locked the world onto a path to war.
Before Hitler could wage war abroad, he needed total control at home. The only group that could even possibly challenge him was the leadership of his own stormtroopers, the SA. So in one single, bloody weekend, he had them all rounded up and murdered. It was brutal, and it worked. After the Night of the Long Knives, the German army swore a personal oath of loyalty to him. He now had absolute power.
And this really shows you the heart of the tragedy. It's this dangerous divergence. On one side, you've got the aggressors, and they are arming themselves to the teeth. Germany is secretly tripling its army. Japan throws out a treaty designed to limit navy sizes and starts building a huge fleet. And meanwhile, what are the so-called guardians of peace doing? Britain and France are slashing their military budgets. Their people are sick of war. And America, it's turned completely inward, focused only on itself. The aggressors were getting stronger, and the peacekeepers were getting weaker day by day.
So by the time 1934 comes to a close, the writing is pretty much on the wall. The whole international system designed to keep the peace is in shambles. The nations that want war are strong and getting stronger, and the nations that want peace are weak and looking the other way. You have to ask, with the aggressors arming up and the guardians disarming, was there any other direction for the world to go? Was the road to war now a one-way street?